Today we are remembering, respecting and giving thanks for the life of Robert John Sincock, or Bob. Bob went to Theberton School and left at the end of grade 6. His first job was as an apprentice mechanic at Jack Morgan's Mechanical. In 1964, Bob rented a shed and bought his first tow truck at Davenport Terrace. In 1966, Bob bought a house at 326 South Road, Richmond. Later it became the Richmond Towing Workshop. As the years went by, Bob and Richmond Towing became well respected in the towing industry. Robbie started working with his father at Richmond Towing Service at the age of 15 and has been his dad's right-hand man ever since. In 2020, Bob's health started to decline due to heart problems. But that did not stop Bob from turning up to work every single day. On March the 3rd, 23, he was admitted to Calvary and sadly passed away 7 weeks later on May the 8th.
I'm Bob's son. Myself, my sister Kerry, my brother Justin grew up in the tow truck industry and crash repair business. We lived on South Road at Richmond, obviously with Dad and Mum. Our lives were pretty different to normal kids' lives. We didn't go to the movies, football. We went on truck rollovers and car crashes. It's true. We didn't have swing sets and trampolines. We had wrecked cars and trucks to play in the backyard. As my mates will tell you, we used to jump on roofs of LC GTR Tiranas and Chargers and things like that, but anyway. Through the school life, I knew I was bound to end up working with Dad in the tow truck business. It was hard at the start, but Dad knew I could probably get the job done, which I believe I have. By the age of 19, I was put in the heavy wreckers, doing recoveries, rollovers, breakdowns, etc. Got to spend most of my life with Dad, either with him in the passenger seat in the later years, because I wouldn't let him drive, or me in the passenger seat in the early days. Tow trucks were our life. Dad had a love for speed cars, ended up buying the local speedway, and that ended up being another adventure, working hard and long days. But Dad loved doing it, it was his passion. And when Speedway was up, it was back to the tow trucks where we both wanted to be. Plus also trying to look after the family farm at Woodside, which Dad had a lot to do with. I mainly went there to give him a bit of hand, fix fences and stuff like that. So there wasn't much time for a social life being in the tow truck industry and all that sort of stuff. I was very lucky to spend a lot of time with Dad, 58 years to be precise. We had some arguments at times when I was younger, but realised as I got older, 99% of the time he was right. But although, a few might remember probably not how to say this one, but anyway, a few might remember the time with the fire episode. Dad, myself, Johnny Nash were trying to start an old Land Cruiser. Dad thought it was easy to pour petrol into the carby while cranking the motor. Well, I stood there with a can of Start Your Bastard in my hand. Well, you can guess what happened. Big backfire. Dad turned into the Ghost Rider. Not a good sight, and not a good way to get a facelift, but he looked 10 years younger when he recovered, so it was all good in the end. I never let him forget that I had that can of Start Your Bastard, so he wasn't always right. Love you very much, Dad. Rest in peace. You're now with a lot of mates that you know are already here. Heaps. He was our legend, as well as a legend in the tow truck industry. And we'll never forget him. Keep on tow trucking, Dad.